Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Warner, and today I would like to present to you my topic of the use of AI to improve literacy. Now for me, this is an important topic because every day that I sit in a classroom, you're having to go over terms with kids, you're having to tell them things, and I understand if they struggle with the more difficult words and vocabulary from history or science, maybe even some of the names from English, but the problem I've realized over the past 3 years of teaching is that students struggle to spell just basic words. And it really tries my patience. That's why I put on here for expert patience, because I have to have the utmost patience to keep these kids learning and to keep my sanity. Because when you're spelling every word out of a sentence, it tries you at times. And hopefully none of you all have had to experience that, but if you have, you understand the struggle that goes through with that. My main purpose here is to make sure that we are improving student vocabulary, their word recognition, spelling, and even word placement. All these programs, as you see, they will get more advanced as we go through the years, starting with basic training modules, going all the way up to more advanced quiz taking and even student manipulation to formulate the AI to where they can have it do what they're telling it to do. Preparing students for AI literacy outside of education. I think that this is important. As you know, many of us throughout our daily lives, deal with using some form of AI technology as it goes. Whether it's on our phones, iPads, computer programs, whatever, and a lot of jobs will eventually start going towards more technologically advanced programs. So this is going to help these kids get at least a basic understanding, if not a somewhat more advanced understanding of how AI works. And lastly, I want to get students more active. I want to give them a more active role in their learning. The biggest thing for me is like when I walk through the door and I'm talking to these kids, I tell them all the time, like, you're going to have to interact with me, you're going to have to talk to me to be successful. And I think with an AI program where the teacher's not the main focus and it's the kids is the main focus, that I think they'll start being a little more interactive and willing to do the things that they want to do. Times are changing, so I said times need to change here. Technology is moving towards the use of a lot of AI programs, just like I said just a few minutes ago, that almost every device we have has some form of AI in it, and it becomes more of a talking point every day. The goods, the bads, everything that goes with it. And I think that it can change the way we handle student learning. It's going to fix a lot of these lost literacy issues, whether it was due to COVID, whether it's due to a learning disability. I think it's going to give students a chance to catch back up or be on the same level as their peers. As we go through these programs, we're teaching them what they need to do. And many programs have already been created that are easy for both the teacher and the student to learn. And that's where we're going to start, is going towards teaching students. As we're integrating AI for our young students, I want it to start as soon as possible. These kids are going to be practically 4, 5, 6, 7 years old going into this. I have a stage for every group, and hopefully they learn on it as well as they should. And like I've said here, they are always exposed they're already exposed to all kinds of technology, whether it's their parents' phone, whether it's their iPads, whether it's a computer, tablet, whatever. They all have experienced the use of technology, so let's put it that way. PopBots is my first program. PopBots is essentially just a learning program for kids, and it gives them 3 sections to be interactive with. The first one is knowledge-based systems, and essentially what this means is the student, so our little 5-year-old boy here or whatever, he would be telling the computer, teaching the computer something simple such as like how to play rock, paper, scissors. So he would teach it the rules, give it the correct responses, how it should react when it wins or loses, and things like that. Then we go to the supervised machine learning system, where essentially the machine is interacting with the student and helping them create things. So if you go back to the rock, paper, scissors example, maybe the student has put in rock, paper, scissors, but then the AI itself is looking to advance the rules and try to do things that maybe the student itself would have missed or didn't put into the system. And then the last one is generative AI systems, which is just essentially the student gets presented with something that the AI created, allowing us to show 3 things. The students can manipulate it, the students can learn with it, and then the students can even learn from it. There we go. Teachers will have to be trained. I know that a lot of teachers are still old school. I know teachers personally that I'm working with that they don't do very well with technology as it is, and a lot of us younger people have to help them with that technology. So that's why we have to make sure that we're professionally training these teachers to be ready. It's going to be a slow process that involves everybody involved. And the easiest thing is to give them a glimpse of it through this thing called AI Grader. And essentially what this does is it shows them that you can program what the responses you want from your AI to be within the program. As you type in and say, I want something to sound similar to this sentence. So then when students participate and they submit an assignment, as long as it is close to the algorithm that you put in, you are going to be able to get the similar response that you're looking for. This gives the teachers a very, very small start and taste into this. So that way they understand, hey, I can work with these systems, this is what this does for me. And then that way they can go ahead with the students and continue their training just as well. So continuing to advance, I mentioned it earlier, I'll mention it again. All these programs get a little bit more complex that I've listed here as students mature in their training. So they're going to start learning. It's going to go with a more interactive, more study focused. It's going to develop skills as we continue to go through. We have AI object detection translation. We have ArchE, the English vocabulary learning app with self-regulated learning mechanics, StoryFire, and primary AI. 3 to 4 of these will be more like going through and being advanced, and one of these is just a fun type of game that they can interact with and create their own coding. So AIODT, object detection translation, essentially starts out with our younger kids, and all this is in order to improve their vocabularies and improve everything that they see from the way the word is spelled to the way the word is pronounced, they're going to go ahead and take a picture of any kind of object. They can do this both at school and at home, and it is recommended to do it at both places. Many schools already are giving iPads to children, maybe not necessarily taking them home, but it does give a chance for students to have the program on their iPads linked to their school account so they can do things. So what would end up happening is they take the picture, the object it's going to be identified through the program. It's going to show the picture they took, the word of the program, and it's going to tell them how to pronounce that word. Studies have shown that this is really successful for young kids on being more successful with their vocabulary test and even on remembering the words that they've taken their own pictures of. As soon as we go into ArchE, ArchE is essentially a step up from taking pictures. Their students are still going to take pictures of objects, but this time around, it's going to ask for the student themselves to create a sentence that goes with the object. As you take your picture, it's going to prompt you to, hey, you need a sentence for this. You need to describe what's going on with this picture. You need to describe what it is. And then it's going to be sent to the student's personal log. Now, this is where kind of cloud-based storage things and everything comes together, because other users of the program will be shown once the student makes a sentence. So if you've got a classroom of 25 kids, that kid can see all the other 24 classmates' responses on how they formulated the sentence compared to how you did it. And it will give you recommendations on how to improve your sentence making skills. This one right here, the self-regulation app, okay? And essentially what this does is it's pre-written with, this comes in for your more advanced students. So as we get older to the upper middle school, high school level, essentially what this does is we add words to this that students would need to understand. Words that they're going to use in their everyday vocabulary, maybe even advanced words that they would see on testing, or names that they could see for future reference in history or science or whatever it may be, whatever the subject may be. Students log into this app. They start out and they check their goals. Their goals pop up first. Are you making progress towards your goal? How is everything going for you? Do we think we need to increase things, decrease things? Because it's going to give you a daily list of things you need to do. It's going to say, you need to learn 10 words today. You need to learn this. You're going to take notes on it after you learn the words. Then you're going to go straight into taking a quiz, and that quiz will not let you advance and remove that word from your daily word list until you have successfully got it correct. So before you get it correct, it's going to tell you, hey, you got it wrong, you keep doing it, and then it will reevaluate your goals once more after it's over. StoryFire essentially creates stories for the students based off of a unique list of words that the teacher implements into the program. Students will see that they'll be read the story and all their words will be highlighted blue within the text, all key words that the teacher has put in. Students will be asked to create their own story line by line. They will write these words in line by line using their keywords, and it will slowly check them off from a gray that's not been used to blue is being used. Students also can fill in the blanks of the story as the story is being read to them. Maybe it was read once to them, and the second time through, the story is a little different, and they fill in the blanks for it. Primary AI. Students love games. Students love to get away from doing actual work in the classroom, but you can incorporate using a game-based learning system to do both. They play a game and they're learning. Students will be using a building block system. This system was initially created to work with sciences, but you can program a story into it. Then the students will control a robot that will be programmed to gather images for the students based on their vocabulary words. So students will then tell this robot based off of a list of words to go collect images. The students will then determine if those images are correct based off of their similarity or need based on that criteria. Students can then reject a word or implement the word that they need. Students will ultimately be training the robot, practicing to use this robot to guide them in their future study list, to put words in to a pattern, as it may be. One important thing to note is we have to protect our students. AI, people want to steal data. We have to have a tech staff on duty. Teachers know what to go in and change algorithms and things like that, so that way that the software never gets corrupted or never gets hacked, never has privacy leaks. Teachers will have to go in and repair any kind of learning flaws that this has. We got to protect our students for the utmost importance. Helping for the future, we essentially have, they're going to gain these AI literacy skills. You know, they're going to be able to go to a job and say, I'm AI certified, or at least somewhat I know basic AI skills. They'll be able to implement computer programs for other things. Being able to go into a job already having this kind of a background is huge, and it's going to allow them to advance in their future careers. Lastly, for my conclusion, AI is important to us, and it's going to be a big important part of our education in the coming years. Even though this is relatively new research on AI helping students, it still gives disadvantaged students a chance to keep up with their peers. It's not fair to these students to be behind, and this gives them that chance to stay on pace with everybody else in the room. It's going to help them with their future skills, make them comfortable with technology, not make them as scared of it as maybe their grandparents or parents were when the technology boom started for them. AI allows students to control their learning. These kids are going in, they're taking pictures, they're reading stories, they're doing things, they're programming robots. They're doing all this stuff to allow them to take advantage of what they need to learn and the necessary skills that school will be provided. And as all these programs have shown, you are going to understand vocabulary. You're going to be understanding your vocabulary. You're going to be understanding word recognition, word placement, spelling, areas that we struggle in. One of the biggest things we struggle with at the high school I teach at is we have kids that fail these tests like crazy. And this AI program can make a lot of this stuff a lot simpler for our students and a lot simpler for ourselves. As you can see, I've got 3 pages of references. If I can get them to come on, there's 3 of them. There's 3 more. And here is my last for it. And all those references were used to complete this. Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to hearing about everybody else's.